Hotep, I am the Amun Osiris, the one and only undisputed God of law, the 4D destroyer. I am not a lawyer. This is not a law firm. We don't advocate that you don't support your human offspring. We simply advocate that you made them in private, you take care of them in private. I am the 4D destroyer. And today we are coming from New Jersey. Okay, Administrative Code Title 10, Human Services, Chapter 110, Child Support Program, Subchapter 1A, Definitions. You can learn a lot from definitions, fellas, okay? But we're going to scroll down here. There's a couple things I want you to see. I'm going to share with you a couple things, but more importantly, check this out. Look. Contractual agent means an entity providing a child support service or functions of the child support program and is inclusive of those agents of the program procured through purchase of service contracts, contractual agreements, or memoranda of understanding with the 4D agency. All right? Department means the Department of Human Services executive branch, but you notice up here it says court order, okay? Violation of separation of powers. This is the word that we're going to talk about today. Federal provisions means statutes, regulations, the child support state plan submitted and maintained by the OCSS, that's the Office of Child Support Enforcement Services in the state, operating in the state, to the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement, OCSC, which is Scott Leakin, and other applicable issuances of that office, such as, but not limited to, action transmittals, information, memoranda, dear colleague letters, policy interpretation questions, as well as technical correspondence used by the Office of Child Support Enforcement, that's the Fed, to convey child support program and related program interface materials and information. Policies, interpretation, and procedures to the state and Indian tribal organization child support enforcement agencies. All right. Number one, statutes are not law. They are legislative rules of society that have the force of law, which requires your consent. Okay? Everybody get that? All right. Number two, what was that other word? Policy. Policies aren't law. Okay? Look up the word policy. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down the word federal provisions. And this, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you know the definition of the words, you can never misinterpret it. I don't care what the courts say. Okay? I don't care what the 4D crime family says. I don't care what their contracting judge says. Okay? Every word has a definition, and every definition has words. And we're going to break down this word, federal provisions. All right? Go over here. Now, today's video is what are 4D provisions? If you need help, bang my email, 4D_destroyer@yahoo.com. And let's zoom this in a little bit because I want you to be able to see it. All right? Now, you remember, one of the things that I taught you is not only are you going to break down the word, but you need to break down the words that define the word that you're breaking down. Okay? So, and you'll see these words here in the bold black. Provisions. Black's Laws Dictionary, 1389. Foresight of the chance of an event happening sufficient to indicate that any present undertaking upon which it is assumed realization might exert a natural and proper influence was entered upon in full contemplation of it being a future possibility. What does this mean? Okay. Now, if you don't know the definitions of these words, you will never be able to comprehend the definition of a provision. And we're going to stop that for you today. Okay. Chance, and every word here we're going to break down. Chance, a possibility of something happening. Now, if Title 4D was enacted into positive law and it affected everybody, why is it a possibility of something happening? Okay? Contemplation, and I'm going in alphabetical order here, so don't mind me. All right, the action of looking thoughtfully at something for a long time. Did you have time? Did you contemplate the legal consequences of Title 4D? Okay, which is contractual. Event, look, right here, event. The making of a contract is an event. Again, where is the contract? All right, enter, to become a partaker. When did you become a partaker of Title 4D services? Foresight, the ability to predict or the action of predicting what will happen or be needed in the future. They predicted all this bullshit. They already knew what was going on, gentlemen. Okay? They already knew what was going on. Foresight, the ability to predict or the action of predicting what will happen or be needed in the future. Damn, boy, they banged you hard, didn't they? You should be mad at that. Okay? You should be mad at that. Possibility, a thing that may happen or be the case. Undertaking, an engagement by one of the parties to a what? A contract to the other as distinguished from a mutual agreement of the parties to each other. All right, gentlemen, this is what Title 4D provision means. Okay, this is all it is. If you don't tear down your words, if you don't comprehend, look, it's one thing to tear down the word provision or any other word, but if you don't tear down the rest of the words, you're not going to be able to comprehend that language. And this is one of the things that we are attempting to teach you here. You have to eliminate this mental slavery in your life and tear down their words. I don't care. Let me check this out. I can read any case law, and guess what? If there's a word in there by chance that I do not comprehend, I will tear down that word. Reason being because we don't want to misconstrue what is being said, okay? The dictionary, and guess what? There are case laws on using dictionary terms. Look them up, okay? No dictionary term, no law dictionary term, especially Black's Law, which is the highest out there, besides Bouvier's or the other, you got Thor's Law, you got a couple of them. All right, but nobody can come back and say, well, Black's Laws is wrong. Okay? It is not going to happen. So there is no misinterpretation. So this is how you would use this 4D technique. Are you a judge? All right, it might be yes or no. If they say yes, all right, then you're going to say, then are you under a 4D contract? Pursuant to Title 45 CFR 302.34. And under that contract, you're under the federal terms of that contract, which is 45 CFR 303.107C. And are you enforcing Title 4D provisions here today? All right. The answer has to be yes. It's not Title 4D law. Right? It's Title 4D provisions, as I just showed you. Okay. Well, if you're enforcing Title 4D provisions, provisions is the foresight of a chance of an event happening, sufficient to indicate that any present undertaking upon which it is assumed realization might exert a natural and proper influence was entered upon in full contemplation of it being a future possibility. So, chance is a possibility of something happening, and that is not possible here today. Contemplation is the action of looking thoughtfully at something for a long time. I've looked at these Title 4D provisions thoroughly for a long time, and I've noticed that they are not enacted into positive law. Event, the making of a contract is an event, so therefore I'm not going into a contract with you. Enter, to become a partaker. I do not wish to partake with you. Foresight, the ability to predict, the action of predicting what will happen or be needed in the future. What you need in the future is a contract, and thus is why we have the events happening. Possibility, a thing that may happen or be the case. This ain't happening. and this ain't the case. Undertaken, an engagement by one of the parties to contract to the other as distinguished from a mutual agreement of the parties to each other. I am not entering into a contract with you, and unless you can provide me with a contract that proves that I am compelled to specific performance, all right, because you're asserting that I owe a debt. The burden of proof rests on he who asserts, not he who denies. Debt is a sum of money due by certain express agreement. Please provide for me that express agreement that created the sum of money due. If you cannot, then please don't bother me anymore. If you don't have it, then I'm walking out the door. Okay? Simple challenge, gentlemen. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. All you have to do is know the words. All right? Most powerful ally that you can have is a Black's Law's Dictionary or Bouvier's Dictionary. All right? Worst case scenario, if you can't get a hold of one, then use a Webster's. All right? But a law dictionary, the reason I love Black's Law's Dictionary because these are the words of the higher courts. Okay? This is their interpretation of these words, so they can't be misinterpreted. So out of provisions, you got a chance, you got contemplation, event, enter, foresight, and possibility, and undertaking. Okay? Title 4D was never enacted into positive law. It is contractual in nature. Okay? You have to be in any present undertaking. You have to contract with it. All right? An event. The making of a contract is an event. Where's the contract? I'm the Ahmed Osiris. If you need help, bang my email. Okay? Please do not shoot me a 5-page email. Just say, hey, listen, Osiris, I need help. I want to schedule an appointment, whatever, and I will email you back. All right, because gentlemen, we average like 500 to 600 emails here a day. I do not have time to read all those emails. I already know what your problem is. You have a 4D issue with the 4D crime family. We will show you how to dispatch that. Real simple. Okay? So, you have your assignment. Okay, you're going to, and please don't take my word for it, folks. Get the Black's Law's Dictionary, look up the word provision, and then tear down all these words in here. All right? You master this, you can ask a very serious question, and you will hurt somebody. You will hurt the 4D crime family agent that is trying to sucker you in with those honey flavored words. When you tear down their words, that's where you get it. All right? So, bang my email if you need help. You have your assignment. Tear down the word provisions. Okay? These are federal provisions, and this is defined by the state of New Jersey. And do not forget, all right? Department means the Department of Human Services, which is in the executive branch of government. And they have contractual agents, an entity providing 4D services and functions of the 4D program, and is inclusive of those agents of the program procured through purchase of service contracts, contract agreements, or memoranda of understanding with the 4D agency, the single and separate 4D agency, which is housed in the Department of Human Services, which is under the executive branch. Do your research, gentlemen. Do not take my word for it. Do not take anyone's word for it. All right? You have your assignment. Email me when you are complete. Hotep.